Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. This is the next video in the series. We are making personal expense management system. And in this video, we will continue with the user interface. And today's video is going to be very important, especially for those who wants to learn how to develop a login mechanism in Microsoft Access. We are going to create a login, very basic login mechanism, not very fancy, but it will be full of some features. It will be having TempVars, VBA code will be used, SQL statements will be used. So there's going to be a whole lot of things. So if you're someone interested in learning all of this, then you should definitely watch until the end. And I can tell you, you will learn a thing or two definitely from this video. Now, before I begin, I must ask, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. And I ask that you subscribe to the channel. And I also request, if you like the content of this channel, then consider becoming member of this channel as well. That would be very much appreciated. Right. So how do we achieve this user login mechanism perspective? Now, I'm going to have a VB code behind a login button, and cancel button we'll see in the next video, but login button at least we will see. So let's go ahead and go to design view of the login form, and we'll close the background form. And I select the login button. We go to the property sheet, event tab, code builder. And here we are in VBA editor. What I would like to do first is I would like to zoom in a little bit so you can see clearly. All right. And then I would like to declare two variables. So I'll say dim_rs as record set, and I'll create another variable dim_rs SQL as string. Now, first we will look after this. We will define RSSQL. So we'll say RSSQL equals, and this is where we will use the select statement from SQL. So select asterisk, which means select everything from, now which record set we are referring to. So we are going to refer to users T table. All right. And we are going to use email address as username and password as password. So we will refer to users T and we'll fetch all the records. All right, so from users T. Now this is where we'll provide where clause. So please pay attention. Where single quote, double quote, ampersand, and we will provide the information here. Where txt user, where what? txt user, where email equals txt user. Remember, as I said, we are going to consider email as a username for this application. You may have a unique ID, for example, employee ID for each employee. Then in that case, you refer to the employee ID or employee number when you're writing code. And notice I have wrapped this txt user in the single quotes and then double quotes. Now, double quotes are by default. You have to make sure that there is a double quote when you're writing the syntax for VBA. But these the single quotes are basically used to determine what type of data we are asking Microsoft Access to look at. So single quote means we are looking for string. Now, email is all about string. It's not a number field. But if you are referring to number field or integer field, then you don't need to provide this single quote. I hope I provided the enough information for you to understand, if in case you are not aware of it. We are also going to look for the password, right? So we'll say password equals single quote, double quote, and you guessed it, ampersand, and me.txt password. All right. So that's the SQL statement. It will look for the combination from the system, from the table. Now we are going to define what is the record set. So we'll say set rs equals current db dot open record set parenthesis open parenthesis close, and in here we will refer to this SQL statement, select statement with RSSQL, and we will say db open dyna set. All right, that's about it. Now, next, we are going to look for the text boxes. These text boxes, if the user have provided something, user should not be able to log on with empty text boxes, right? So we'll build that logic here. So we'll say if is null me.txt user equals true, then do cmd.beep message box, please provide the username. All right, and we'll say VB critical and information will be the header. We will also set the focus me.txt user dot set focus, and then we are going to copy the entire code rather than me typing. You're just watching. I'll speed up a little bit. Password me.txt password, please provide the user's password. All right, there you go. And we'll set the status, set the focus to txt password. If both are false, else end if. All right, now in here we will provide a VBA code which will actually perform the work of logging in to the application. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to say if, all right, so we come here, if not, all right, rs.eof, then else and if. All right, so you must be wondering, what is it rs if not rs.eof? Well, basically I'm asking Microsoft Access that, hey, go to this record source, which is the users table, all right, and then start from the top. Start from the top to do what? To search for the email address and password combination that user has provided. So that's what this little block of code will do. Now, if the username and password is found, then of course we will welcome the user. But there's much more than just welcoming the user. Basically, we will capture some of the user's information so we can populate that information onto the main form. So if I go to main form, remember we have this little label which is going to use to welcome and then username. All right, so we're going to do that as well. So just pay attention, that's what I'm trying to say. So if not rs.eof, then we will congratulate. So say do cmd.beep message box, welcome to the loop expense management system. All right, comma VB information, and then comma information. All right, as I said, not just that, we will do a lot more. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the TempVars. TempVars are temporary variables. I think that's what they're called, but if I'm wrong, please do let me know in the comments below as well. But in short, we will store that information temporarily. What information? Basically, we'll store the user ID. For example, we'll store the user ID, we'll store the username as a temporary information, and we are going to utilize this information while working on the application as well. So this is what we are going to build. Now in here, how do we get that? So we'll say, first of all, we'll open the form. Which form we are going to open? We are going to open main form, right? That's main our dashboard. Once that is open, then we will say forms main exclamation mark will refer to this label which I showed you before. So main form, this is the label. So I think this is called LBL welcome. So we'll say LBL welcome. All right, forms main LBL welcome, and equals to what? This is where we are going to use the TempVars function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it non-functional line of code. So I'm going to first define the variables. So TempVars. So how do we do that? We'll say TempVars parenthesis open parenthesis code double quote, and we will say user ID equals rs user ID dot value. Now if you're wondering what I'm doing, as I said, we are going to store this information temporarily so we can use this information within the application wherever we want. And one of the example I can give later on, in which this TempVar user ID will be used. We will also fetch the username. All right, we'll also fetch the username from the table, and we are going to populate where we are going to populate onto this list box. All right, so now I'm going to remove this single quote, and now I'm going to say caption equals, this is what I'm going to refer to. So we'll say TempVars username. So what will happen is that once the user has logged on, TempVars will store their name, their ID temporarily, and then we will print that username or ID onto the main form. That's what is happening here. So once that is done, we will then close the login form as well. So do cmd dot close, and it is asking what to be closed. I will say object name, do cmd dot close. Nah, something is wrong. Okay, do cmd dot close, and we'll define the object name, that will be login f. All right, so close the login form. I'm sure something is wrong here. It's not looking right, but anyway, we'll see. Okay, so then we are going to actually, if after what is else after this line of code, if the user ID or password did not match during the search in the database, then we'll say, hey, this cannot be done because user ID name or password is missing. So instead of success message, we'll say the username or password is missing. All right, so instead of VB information, we'll say VB critical, and that's about it. Okay, now let's zoom out and let's do the debugging. Okay, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm I'm a bit tired, so that's why I don't know whether this line of code is correct, but we'll see. All right, let's test it out. So let's close this and email. Let's copy this robin@email.com. His name is Robin Edward James, and the password is James. So let's try it out. We'll go to the background. Username is email, and the password, let's say I don't provide the password. I click on login. It says, hey, provide the password. And if I provided the password, maybe it's incorrect. Again, it says user ID or password is missing. So now I'm going to provide the correct password. It should work. Welcome to expense management system. And as I said, there's something wrong, and there's definitely wrong. And what is wrong? Let's look into that. So we'll go to design view, login button, ... Let me just zoom in a little bit. So in here, we are opening the main form. We are printing the TempVars username, and here we want to close the login form, but the form is not getting closed. And also we haven't seen the form which is called the main form. All right, so do cmd dot open form and the form name as main. Well, this code is correct. All right, but this code to close the form is, as I said, is not correct. Okay, come on, do cmd dot close. There we go. Now we are getting, and object name is a login f. Okay, so this should definitely work. And let's see, now let's try it out once more. Okay, so let's go to background, email, password James, welcome, and there you go. Now it says Robert Edward Jones, but there is no welcome. I want welcome, comma, Robert Edward Jones. So how do we fix it? Well, let's go ahead and fix it. So we'll go to the login form, design view, login, dot, dot, dot. I'm going to zoom in so you can see where I have edited my code in here. All right. So I'm going to say welcome, and I'm going to say ampersand, double quote, and a space and a comma here. Okay, maybe not a space, just a comma. All right. So that's the modification I've done for the code. And now let's log in again. So we'll go back here and I'm going to type the password, welcome, and here we go. Login is done. We have the username and the ID is also captured, but it's not visible, but it is captured. So that's the power of VBA, TempVars, SQL statement. And we have seen in this video, all of these came together and made this login possible. If you liked whatever you've seen, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not, hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. And to support me and support this channel, you can also become a member. Thank you very much for your support. I will see you in the next one.